Shockwave at the airport. Jungkook BTS appears under heavy guard, flanked by two massive bodyguards, and the internet explodes. No one was ready for what happened that day. Not the fans who had been waiting calmly with phones in their hands, not the reporters who thought it would be just another routine sighting, and certainly not the internet, which would erupt into chaos within minutes. When Jungkook of BTS finally appeared, the atmosphere changed instantly. The air felt heavier, the crowd louder, the moment sharper. This was not a casual arrival. This was not a normal public appearance. Jungkook walked forward with a controlled, unreadable expression, and on either side of him stood two towering bodyguards, broad-shouldered, powerfully built, dark-skinned men whose presence alone sent a clear message. This moment was serious. From the very first second, everyone knew something was different. The scene looked like something straight out of a movie. Jungkook, dressed simply yet strikingly, moved with quiet confidence, but the formation around him was what captured every eye. The two bodyguards walked half a step ahead, scanning the surroundings with laser focus. Their physiques were imposing, their posture rigid, and their expressions unreadable. They were not just escorts, they were a wall. Fans gasped. Phones trembled. Whispers turned into screams. Within seconds, photos flooded social media, and one question echoed everywhere. Why was Jungkook being guarded this tightly? The crowd surged instinctively, drawn toward him like gravity. Security lines tightened. Staff shouted instructions, but Jungkook never broke stride. He didn't wave, he didn't stop, he didn't smile. That alone shocked fans who were used to his warmth and openness. This Jungkook felt different, calmer, more distant, almost protected by an invisible shield reinforced by the two men beside him. As the images spread, speculation ignited like wildfire. Fans zoomed in on every frame, analyzing every detail. The bodyguard's size compared to Jungkook, their positioning, their synchronized steps, their intense awareness. This was not standard idle security. This was elite-level protection. Some fans described the moment as cinematic. Others called it intimidating. Many admitted they felt a strange mix of fear and pride. Fear because the situation looked serious. Pride because Jungkook looked powerful, important, untouchable. Within minutes, hashtags trended worldwide. Screenshots circulated with dramatic captions. Short clips looped endlessly. The comments exploded. Theories, emotions, admiration, concern, shock. The fandom was in overdrive. Why now? Why this level of security? Why two bodyguards so visibly dominant, so clearly positioned to control the space around him? Jungkook's outfit only added to the intensity. He wore dark tones that contrasted sharply with the brightness of the airport lights. His face was partially shadowed by a cap, his eyes hidden behind sunglasses, creating an aura of mystery. He looked like a global superstar stepping into a moment far bigger than an ordinary schedule. Fans closest to the scene later described how the energy shifted the instant he appeared. The noise spiked. People pushed forward. Some cried, some froze, and through it all the two bodyguards never faltered. One subtly extended an arm to block sudden movements. The other scanned the crowd with precision. Their coordination was flawless, almost military-like. This wasn't just about crowd control. This felt like protection from something unseen. Online, debates raged. Some believed Jungkook had received threats. Others speculated about confidential schedules, secret projects, or high-level meetings. There were whispers about international appearances, global brand deals, or something even more sensitive. Every theory fueled the fire. What made the moment even more powerful was Jungkook's silence. No statement followed. No clarification was given. HYBE said nothing. Security teams remained tight-lipped. The lack of explanation only deepened the mystery. Fans replayed the footage again and again. In one clip, Jungkook slightly adjusts his pace, and instantly the bodyguards shift with him, tightening the formation. In another, a sudden scream from the crowd causes a brief pause and both men react immediately, positioning themselves more defensively. Their movements were fast, controlled, professional. This wasn't about intimidation. This was about control. And yet, despite the intensity, Jungkook never looked afraid. If anything, he looked composed, protected, centered, as if he trusted the people around him completely. That contrast, between the chaos of the crowd and the calm of Jungkook, made the moment unforgettable. Many fans admitted they felt conflicted. Seeing him guarded so heavily made them worry. Was he safe? Was he under threat? At the same time, seeing him treated with such seriousness reinforced his global status. This was not just an idol. This was a world-class figure whose presence demanded maximum security. The bodyguards themselves became an instant topic of discussion. Fans described them as giant, unmovable, like a fortress. Their dark skin and powerful build stood out visually, especially next to Jungkook's slimmer frame, creating a striking visual contrast that cameras couldn't ignore. The imagery spread rapidly, turning the moment into an iconic scene. Edits appeared within hours. Slow-motion videos, dramatic music overlays, black and white stills with intense captions. The internet transformed a few minutes at an airport into a global spectacle. Some fans praised the security, saying it was long overdue. Others questioned why such measures hadn't been used before. Many simply couldn't stop talking about how unreal the moment felt. Was this the new normal for Jungkook? As the hours passed, the story only grew. International fans reacted with shock and admiration. Media outlets hinted at unprecedented security. Comment sections filled with emotional reactions. Some fans said they felt tears welling up, realizing how massive Jungkook's influence had become, and how heavy the burden of fame must be. Because behind the power, behind the protection, was a human being walking forward under the weight of millions of eyes. That's what made the moment so haunting. Jungkook didn't say a word, but his presence spoke volumes. The bodyguards didn't speak either, but their presence screamed urgency, importance, and caution. Every step echoed with meaning. Even after Jungkook disappeared from view, the crowd remained buzzing. People replayed the moment on their phones, shaking their heads in disbelief. "Did you see that? That was insane. I've never seen security like that." And online, the story refused to die. Days later, fans were still analyzing, still debating, still feeling the emotional aftershock. Some said the image of Jungkook walking silently between those two massive guards was burned into their minds. Others said it changed how they viewed him, not just as a beloved artist, but as a global figure navigating a dangerous level of attention. The moment became a symbol of fame, of pressure, of protection, of how far Jungkook has come and how intense his world has become. And perhaps that's why it resonated so deeply. Because in that brief walk through the airport, fans saw something raw and real, not a performance, not a stage persona, but the reality of being Jungkook. Surrounded by love, surrounded by chaos, and guarded tightly by strength. The internet may never stop talking about that day, about those two bodyguards, about Jungkook's unreadable expression, about the silence that said everything. One thing is certain. It wasn't just an appearance. It was a moment that shook fans, ignited endless discussion, and reminded the world just how powerful and vulnerable global stardom can be. And as fans continue to replay the footage, one thought lingers in the air, heavy and unresolved. What was Jungkook walking toward, and what was he being protected from? The mystery remains, the image endures, and the impact unforgettable.